Hi, everyone. This is Michelle Burney with Uncovering Your Radiance Within. For those of you who might know me from, my earlier years from high school, from school, and even those of you who might know me from my current job or, my career as a teacher, some people might classify me as an overachiever. And my dad had shown me an article in the newspaper from high school, and I read it, and I'm like, yeah, see, I've always been an overachiever. And I kind of laughed, but that made me really think about myself and think about like, who am I and like, what is really my patterns? Because as I'll share some things, like say growing up, for example, I was school always came easy to me, but I always wanted to try new things from when the opportunity arose. Like I started to play an instrument in elementary school, and I started to get involved in sports. And by high school, I played 3 sports. Besides playing the flute in middle school, I joined jazz band for a while as a percussionist. Not a real percussionist, but someone who played a cowbell and a triangle. Um, then in high school, I got involved with the newspaper and journalism and the radio show. I hosted a radio show, and I was a class officer, and all of those things. Like, some people thought she's just an overachiever, she's a goodie, and that kind of thing. And college, I think I took a little bit of a break. I think UB, the college I went to, was so large that I felt kind of lost and didn't really feel part of the community. But then through my career, as a teacher, I was always involved in something, different committees, class advisor. I organized trips to Boston and Washington, D.C. I coached softball, I coached basketball, I had done the yearbook, shared decision making, department chair. The list goes on and on. And in thinking about this pattern that started from young, essentially, and it kind of carries with me, really what I classify this as, or analyze this as, is probably the better word, is it for a desire to grow. I think growth is really, really important to me, and growth is a driving factor to me. Um, and this desire for growth, expansion, learning more, being more is currently driving my decision that some may deem to be a little bit crazy, but I'm leaving a job of 25 years and moving out of state and kind of starting all over again. But it is that desire of growth, for growth, that is really pushing this change. As I told someone, in my current state at my job, had a great kids, great colleagues. But I felt like I was a plant growing in a box. This is the analogy that I shared with somebody. I felt like I was a plant growing in a box, and I knew the box was fairly small. Like I knew that there were quite a few limitations on the growth of this plant in this box, right? And then I started to feel like I was starting to outgrow the box. And then of late, like this plant wasn't getting watered, it wasn't getting sunlight, and it just wasn't sitting well with me. Like I was starting to feel stuck. I've read some analogies on growth about like, a fish can only grow as big as its tank and that kind of thing. So this desire for growth is really making me make some, big decisions. And I'm really at peace with them because, I know this is about who I am, this idea for growth. But I've, read some little, Facebook memes and sayings and things, which have made me question of late, and um, is this desire for growth selfish? Like, should we just be satisfied with where we're at and, have gratitude? And that was my last talk last week, was on gratitude. And I do really feel like I am living with gratitude. And I feel like I'm living with even more gratitude than I ever have as I choose this path of growth. So I'm going to kind of explain how they're maybe not contradictory. But there was this quote that hit me. I've seen it in a couple places. Like, your terrible job is the dream job of the unemployed. Your house is the dream of the homeless. You don't let difficult times make you forget your blessings. And I do truly feel blessed. Like, I truly have gratitude for this job that I had for 25 years. I feel gratitude for the home, the beautiful home that we had, that we sold on this path towards moving and all of this. But I still questioned, shouldn't I just be grateful for what I have? Or if I feel gratitude, which I do, I feel like I feel gratitude, should I still have this desire for growth? Like, are gratitude and growth like contradictory? And you see this even with marriages. where some people are conflicted. And I know I was kind of conflicted in, approaching a divorce in my first marriage. Like, it's not that bad, should I do this? Should I do this to my children? Like, I have an okay life. Should I risk it for something else, for growth? I have a friend who kind of expressed, that her husband is a great provider. They have a great quality of life, but there's some other emotional connections and aspects missing. Is it selfish to want more in terms of connection in a relationship? Should you just settle for, a husband who's a great provider and a great lifestyle? And so I think, people can struggle with this idea of growth and wanting more, whether it be out of a relationship or out of a job, and having gratitude for what you do have. And I don't think they have to be contradictory at all. Because in terms of growth, how I internalize this, because I did reflect on this for quite a while. My growth, I don't consider to be selfish. My growth, I see as having an impact on others. And not that in my current state, that I can't have an impact or didn't have an impact on people. Because, I'm a teacher, and I would like to think that I have an impact on all the kids, in some way or shape or form on kids. I feel like I have an impact on my colleagues. It was really hard to say goodbye to so many of them. However, in moving forward, I can have an impact on maybe more kids, other colleagues. I want to take more of a leadership role as a teacher leader, and hopefully affect more students than just, the students you see in any given year. And that's kind of how I've internalized this, is that your growth can have an impact on others. So wanting to grow, wanting more, isn't necessarily just about you, that it's not selfish to want more, and that you can still have gratitude for what you have, but still desire more. So for example, if you are looking for growth in terms of your wellness, in terms of fitness, yeah, you may lose some friendships. You may avoid certain social outings. Like if you're really trying to be disciplined, if there's really people who have negative influence on you, if you're trying not to drink as much or trying to eat better, if you're trying to exercise more, you might think, well, it's going to take time away from my kids. It's going to take time away from my family. But in the end, it's not selfish, because as you improve on your health, you do have a positive impact on those around you. You will have a positive impact on those you love and those who love you. Like I've mentioned before, like you're doing your kids a service by getting yourself healthier. You're less of a burden to your children, to your spouse, to your loved ones, if you're in a healthier place. So pursuing, growth in terms of wellness, fitness, whatever you'd like to call it, is definitely not a selfish endeavor. That you are also helping the lives of those around you. In terms of wanting more out of a relationship, one of my recent talks was on invest in your relationship, because I do really think that's important. Having quality, sound relationships with deep connections is really important. And as things are better for you and your relationship, you're able to give more. You're able to be more loving to your children. You're able to function better at your job when you don't have the stressors of this maybe negative relationship. So wanting more from a relationship may not be considered to be, selfish, because there are other people who can definitely benefit from, whether it be improving your current relationship, investing time into your relationship, or possibly, moving on and growing out of your current relationship. That there's hard times for sure, and there's some sacrifices and there's some hurt, but there is potential to affect more people in a positive way by bettering your relationship. In terms of career expansion, having growth in your career, if that's what you desire, look and see, well, how and can it benefit others? Will it benefit your family life if you're in a happier place? Will it benefit your relationship with your spouse if you're looking to grow and, like I said, you're in a less stressful environment? Can you have more impact on more people by growing and moving up and doing more with your career? In terms of, say, my coaching, expanding into this health and wellness coaching, I hope to affect more people by learning more myself and trying to share my message. my growth journey in terms of my coaching, like I said, I'm hoping that it is affecting others. And even in terms of moving out of state, I'm leaving behind a lot of wonderful, great people. And I do hope to meet more people that I can have a positive impact on. But in terms of moving to a new area, I feel like it's expanding my understanding of people, of cultures, of areas, of landscapes, of places. There's so many more places that I want to explore. And I think that can have an effect on others, like, for example, my own children. Because I think when you live this life of growth, I think that you need to look at yourself as a potential role model for others, showing others that yes, you can get healthier. Yes, you can push to have better relationships. You can improve your marriage. Yes, you can be better at your career. You can do some new things. You can try some new challenges. And I do really feel that you can directly impact if you have your own children and being a good role model. And I feel like my kids, I gain a lot of um, encouragement from them, a lot of motivation from them, and seeing them and the things that they're doing encourages me to be more brave, to try new things, to push myself to new challenges. But I think that in the flip side, they also see me, trying to be better, even where I could be just comfortable and kind of stagnant and still. I do think that I have a really positive impact on my own kids, giving them confidence to try new things, to try new places, to try new things. And I think ultimately, with their independence and their courage, that they're going to do even better things. They're going to have even a better effect on people and the difference that they can make in this society. So, in terms of this role model idea, I saw this quote. It was a Facebook thing, one of those positive energy kind of pages shared this. It said, "Don't underestimate the power of your story. You could be changing someone's whole world just by being you." So if you have desire for growth in some area of your life, don't look at it as selfish. Look at it as how will your growth impact others? Because I really believe that most of the time, if you are improving areas of your life, it will trickle down to others, whether it be, like I said, by being a role model, giving someone else the courage, or letting someone else see that it can be done, it is possible, whether it be by just affecting those around you in a positive way. That growth doesn't have to contradict gratitude. Honestly, I feel like I have more gratitude as I push myself for more growth. I have gratitude for what I have. I have gratitude for who I've become. I have gratitude for new experiences. I do feel like my life is filling with more gratitude as I continue this path towards growth. So for those of you who may have the same struggle like I did, maybe not. But like I said, I think that growth and gratitude don't have to be contradictory, that you can keep growing and you can still be gracious for what you have. You can have gratitude for what you used to have. I have much gratitude for my little house. I have gratitude for my other house. Like, I have much gratitude for all the people that I've worked with, the students that I have taught. It doesn't mean that moving forward means that I disregard them. It means that I just want to maybe affect more people and have a positive impact in other ways, and that maybe my growth, like I said, can be an example for somebody else. So that was pretty heavy talk, I think, on growth and gratitude. I'm not sure, like I said, how many of you out there might be experiencing some conflicting thoughts in your mind about that. But I encourage you to look at your life, and is there an area you're really looking to grow in, and give it a try. Like I said a while ago, like, you can do hard things, and you'll kind of start to develop confidence in yourself, and know that your growth can really affect others in a positive way, and it's not selfish.